Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And this is KLA Cloud the Wanderer. About to give it to you once again. Yeah, I decided I wanted to do a live. And, this topic was going to be about Wonder Woman. And, recently I I seen an article about James Gunn about to do this Wonder Woman project, the third Wonder Woman sequel. So for some reason, I was kind of hesitant to do it, but I wanted to. I was thinking about it whether to do it or not, do a live stream or Wonder Woman. But there's some things that I do know about her, and there's some things I probably don't. And it's like I'm learning it too, like because there's also like new Wonder Woman projects from DC Comics. They got the Absolute Wonder Woman, and yeah, I haven't read those yet, but I know she's raised in hell and all that stuff, and it's a different story, different twist. But yeah, I just wanted to do a live on it, I guess, because that article I stumbled across. But yeah, I could play this video on the third sequel on Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman movie is officially in the works. Everyone and their mother is calling for Adria Arjona, and I hate to tell you, you're all wrong because Wonder Woman is right here. It's Katie O'Brien. Katie's one of the most underused, undervalued actors in Hollywood. I think Love Lies Bleeding is one of the best movies of the decade, and I think every time she pops up, even in a small role, she adds something like she just did in Mission Impossible. Compelling to watch, she has charisma, she commands the screen every single time she's on it. It's not just about the physicality that Katie obviously has, it's about embodying who Diana actually is. She could bring a grounded, serious stoicness to this universe that would contrast nicely with something like David Corensweth's Superman. Katie is someone that doesn't just have the look, but she is a perfect fit for this character. Also think it would be great to cast a queer actor in a queer role. Like I said, every single person is called for Arjona. A lot of people are calling for Melissa Barrera, who I think could do a really nice job. I would definitely be behind that. Palestinian actor May Kalamawi has also expressed a lot of interest recently. I think she could do a nice job. Most recently, she seemingly had a large role written out of the dumpster fire that was Gladiator 2 for being Palestinian. I think she could be a good lesser known entry to take up the role here. Katie O'Brien is one. 1A for me is Monica Barbero. I think she gave one of the best performances of the year last year in A Complete Unknown. She was matching or out acting Timothée Chalamet in every single scene. She was magnificent. She also has the physicality. She spent a lot of her life doing ballet. Monica Barbero deserves to be a star, and this could be the role that could do that. Also had no idea she was with Andrew Garfield. That has to be one of the coolest couples in Hollywood. Dark horse option here is Naomi Scott. I don't think Smile 2 was a good movie, but she was acting her fucking ass off, giving so much effort. Role I think she could pull off. She has the strength, she has the intensity. I think she could do this. Aside the clear and obvious favorite, I would go Katie, then Monica Barbero, then Melissa Barrera. Let me know your choice in the comments.
Hey, welcome. Good to see you. Drop by.
Hey, how you
how you,
doing?
yeah, how you been? You
I've been
sound
all right.
okay.
Yeah, I've been all
Yes,
right.
that's cool. Happy
Yeah.
Father's Day. I'm just throwing
Uh,
that out there.
Happy Father's Day too.
Okay. Yeah, this was a clip that I seen. I really what motivated me to do this topic, the Sunday topic, was this article on James Gunn. He's gonna do he's thinking about doing the third. Well, he got it in production to do the third Wonder Woman sequel. So, and then I just played like this video on who could be Wonder Woman. The one of the options was like that chick from Blood Lies, and I forgot the name of it, but the bodybuilding chick that was there. You know what I'm talking about.
hmm
Yeah, she's like I mean, she seemed like a good option, She was good in that bodybuilding movie and stuff like that. But yeah, the other actress I'm not really too familiar with like that. But I think, and the crazy thing is this chick. she's I don't know if I could say she's queer, too. The one that also played that movie. So yeah, I would think she could be a good option. I ain't really thought about that until I seen the video. So yeah,
Well, I thought they said they're gonna re-sign Gail Gadot.
yeah, I heard that too. I heard that too as well. You know, yeah, they got a lot of articles on this Wonder Woman stuff, but he's putting in production. You know, but yeah, before that, before we get too deep into it, Wonder Woman, she was created by William Moulton Marston, who was a psychologist. He has a history psychologist, and he even created the lie detector test. The lie detector for like he wanted to study like human behavior. That's his purpose of it. And he was like studying this thing called this. It was a this theory: dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance. And that was his thing. He believed that it would kind of open the door for 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 liberation. And yeah, it's a lot to cover on this guy, a bit. He was a polygamist. He he married Elizabeth Holloway, that was his wife, and his other mistress was Olive Byrne, if I'm pronouncing that right. And she was like the niece of Margaret Sanger, who was a feminist. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, he created the story to Wonder Woman 1941, where they had, of course, where they had with Superman and Batman were like the ones that was the most popular ones and stuff. And what I know about him, he had this thing where he kind of created this thing where he wanted to kind of install like the feminist like ideology to young readers as well. And the thing, and not only that, some of his early works of the Wonder Woman series, it had like bondage and her being tied up and all that type of stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's a, I've seen also too, like 2017, months after the Wonder Woman movie, they made a movie based upon him and stuff like that. I seen it the other day. So yeah. It was called Professor Marston and the Wonder Women.
Oh,
So, yeah.
yeah, I think I heard of it. I think what's it on HBO?
Nah, it was on theaters. It was in theaters. And yeah, it was like in theaters, like I would say like in November of 2017.
Mm-hmm. It's about the
Yeah,
time when the first one movie come out.
yeah. Yeah, I seen it. I seen the first Wonder Woman in theaters. I was like anxious to see it, you know. I mean, it was pretty good. Like um yeah, I think what made it good is that she was kind of she was in a hunt for Ares, and she didn't know who Ares was because he was disguising himself as a human.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so and then the least person that she thought was Ares, he appeared as Ares.
Yeah,
So
because she thought it was this German officer that was Ares, but really he was. He was just Ares was using him as a tool, so he can get humans to fighting, and that's what it was about, fighting for him.
Yeah.
Because I think everything changed with it. I think it was after when Darkseid came to Earth, everything changed after that because they had to fight him, and it made Zeus weak and all the other gods weak because the battle was so, you know, because I think they played that into they didn't say it, but it was like from they took that in from the uh the Justice League second movie.
Okay. The second movie? Oh no, you mean the Zack Snyder movie?
Yeah, it's
Actually,
like where you call it. It's technically it's technically the second movie, but it is, yeah, Sniper Side, but the second movie because remember the first one, the first one that was Joss Whedon, and then it was the one that people like to forget about. But the Zack Snyder was supposed to be the original movie, but it didn't go out to theaters because what happened with Steiner's daughter. Warner Brothers couldn't just say, Zach, take care of your family. We can wait and chill. But no, they didn't want to get the movie out. And they see how it does. The movie kind of just flopped because one thing was, I think one big mistake they made with that movie was casting Steppenwolf as a villain. Steppenwolf should have been what they used for Steppenwolf. If you ever read in comics, Steppenwolf looks more human than anything. Even though he's a new god, he looks more human.
right.
And that first Steppenwolf, the Joss Whedon version, it I don't know. And then that second one, that should have been Steppenwolf, should have been maybe one of Darkseid's sons, like Calabash or something. It's just, it just didn't really. They just didn't really follow. Steppenwolf should have like some kind of human who just in the background, and then find out he's like some kind of he's been hiding on Earth for years, living as a regular human, even though, and just waiting for Darkseid to come because he knew when they did the first attack, when all the gods and all the Amazons and even there's some Green Lantern Corps fought him that first time, he got defeated. He could have left behind and stayed, let me stay master and, just whenever you come back and prepare the way. But they just, either way, Josh didn't do a good job with it, and Zach did a little better, but he should have just kind of, changed it somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really. I thought did you see the Zack Snyder one? I'm just asking.
Not all of it. That thing's like was long.
Then maybe you need to see it. That's what I'm saying.
It is. I've seen some of it, but it's
It,
we really have to. We watch that movie. You really have to. I think if you don't want to miss anything, you better drain yourself of any fluids in your body, and also have things prepared. Or I mean, but yeah, you can pause and step and go to the bathroom, come back. But it's a long movie. It's all right in some aspects, but it's just really, 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 really a lot longer than you want to sit through it for.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, well, like we could go back to Charles Marston thing a little bit. I mean, he was like the pioneer, like one of the pioneers of feminism, a bit like a male feminist. And I mean, like I think like like after his death, that they kind of like almost restrained on Wonder Woman, like the comic, because of the stuff that he kind of put in there, in terms of the bondage and all that type of stuff. So like I think like at a point like that she lost her powers, and in the 60s or something like that, and she became like a spy, and then like there was like where the radical feminism started coming about, and she was brought back again because at one point she didn't have the costume and all that stuff where she would, and she lost the powers. So I mean, I mean, growing up for me, of course, you've seen Wonder Woman on TV with Linda Carter and stuff like that, and the Super Friends, and she stood out. Like it was like to a point where I would kind of fantasize like like somebody I like as Wonder Woman.
Well, both the TV show and the cartoon kind of watered down her power because Woman is just as strong as Superman in some
Yeah,
levels. And like there be times you watch Superman doing some stuff, Wonder Woman does it, and then she struggles. Where if you read the comics, she's just as strong as him. She's in the top five of strongest DC heroes.
yeah,
And because as we all know, especially when you do a TV show for children, the idea is that the woman ain't supposed to be as strong as a man or stronger. You know, I still watch the old Justice League movie, TV. I mean, not TV cartoon show. It comes on a network called Me TV Tunes. Comes on every week. Sometimes on the weekends too.
yeah,
Going back to the show. I mean, I used to remember we used to get Saturday morning. That was the highlight of us. Saturday mornings, get up and watch cartoons and watch Super Friends. Da, 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 da. I used to, you know. Now I'm watching enough because it's all right, but it's just reminds you of those days. Yeah, you didn't have anything. You just was a kid enjoying life, eating cereal and watching cartoons all day.
yeah. But to piggyback on what you said about them like not being at the Wonder Woman being at the same level as Superman, I guess they didn't want to like display too much, like they didn't want to display, they don't want to like display too much that like a woman can be as strong as a man, because that was the whole thing, especially with his comic. She can be as strong as Superman and Batman. you know
Whereas Batman doesn't really have strength. He has.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say. Like,
eh,
she could squabble like Superman majority of the times. I mean, and
yeah,
then Batman did fight her like years later, like in this series. I read it. It was about this girl. She was accused of killing somebody, and so Batman was like on a hunt. He was like pursuing her he wanted to catch her, and it was like this. She was under protection with Wonder Woman. I forgot the name of the word, but it was like Wonder Woman vowed to protect her, and so Batman wanted to take her custody, and so Wonder Woman didn't allow that, and so that's when they started kind of, they was going at it with each other. And so you
mhm,
see this one, this one was a killer, like almost got like this domination over him.
yeah. Because Batman says that one of them is probably the toughest fighter he knows because she has lived for over 1,000 years, plus her training as an Amazon. Compared to
Yeah,
Batman, even though Batman has traveled around the world and trained with the best fighters, you know, I mean, this is something they never really did. Something they should do. Like there's Lady Shiva, who trained Batman. Also, she's trained by the League of Assassins. They should have a fight between Lady Shiva and Wonder Woman. But the thing is, Lady Shiva knows she can beat Wonder Woman because she doesn't have her powers. See, one thing people I keep saying about Batman: Batman's not a superhero. He's a detective. He has skills. Can't fly. He goes beyond the limits of a human when it comes to some strength and endurance, but he's still a human. He's like this. Batman and Superman are the same coin but different sides. Superman is this powerful being, but he just wants to live his life as a regular man because he was raised in a farm on Kansas. While Batman is this human that wants to be more than human.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I mean, I ain't want to focus too much on that. You threw me off on that, but I ain't want to focus on the Batman and the Superman. But my point is that she stood out as just as Batman and Superman and stuff. I'm trying to look for something that I seen earlier with this athlete. She's like a pole dancer. She's like in on one of those tournaments or something like that. I mean the Olympia, and she's twirling around as Wonder Woman. I wanted to showcase that. That's why I'm kind of like stumbling. But here's a picture of her, just in case people know what I'm talking about. This is her, and she's dressed as Wonder Woman. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a lot of bodybuilders they like dressing up as Wonder Woman and stuff. A lot of them don't they probably don't know the significance of it, So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really like impressed with her. Like I'm gonna show you. So yeah, so yeah, this is another clip I got. She's in this apocalyptic and she kills Superman and has his skull. I don't know you know about this.
Yeah.
I read a little bit of it.
Must be an
And
Elseworld story.
yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, this is when her and Superman was fighting, and she eventually kills him and stuff. So yeah, like what was like your best Wonder Woman story?
Well, I didn't read a lot of woman ones coming up. I wasn't like any boy. I was more a fan of Superman, Batman, Spider Man. Uh, if like I said, I I love the Linda Carter series. That was fun to watch,
Yeah,
and that's about it. I mean, she. I do have a couple of issues because this was, because it wasn't that long ago when she got stripped of her powers, and she lost to Artemis, who became the new Wonder Woman. That's right about the time when, right after Superman
yeah,
died.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know who
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
she
that
also
was
was like she was like with Red Hood. She was rolling with Red Hood and Bizarro at one point.
oh yeah, it's Artemis. Yeah, they became like kind of like the dark version of. I don't say dark version, kind of like the mixed trinity or something. It's just how you. I won't say dark. I would say somewhat kind of like the
Well, they were
anti-hero.
dark. I mean, yeah,
I was
they
I was
were a
they
little
were,
bit dark. They
yeah
they
they are,
did
yeah
things with
they,
the they did things with that Superman or Batman wouldn't do.
yeah they're more
You
like
had
the
Jason Todd, you had Bizarro and stuff.
yeah it's more
So
like the
yeah,
anti-hero
this
version of
is
the Trinity.
her name. Now go ahead.
That's what I said. I said
Yeah.
it was a
So
and
you
I
see this, right?
yeah I see it.
Okay. Now, go ahead. What you were saying?
That's it.
Oh yeah. So her name is Denny Danica Menton. Yeah. Yeah. Shit. I wanted to play on that Wonder Woman video if I could see it. So I gotta scroll down. But she does this real cool pole, this Wonder Woman routine, and it's like, wow, I had to just show that because it's very impressive how she does that. You know, so they got pole dancing in the Olympia. So okay, the Arnold, right?
Yeah, yeah. The honor to have a pole dancing.
Hello.
They've been doing that for the last they've been having for the last I think 10 years or more because it's part of
Yeah,
the Arnold Classic Sports Expo because you have the
yeah,
competition and the expo where it's just mostly they have like things like weightlifting. You have some martial arts stuff. They also have booths where you can buy stuff and get stuff. I know a friend of mine said back then they used to get like free merch, but then there's one year where they kind of cut it down so bad that you only got maybe a couple of shirts and some supplements and some other stuff. 'Cause,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm trying to find a picture. Okay, this is it right here. You can see this, right?
yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Well, she was at the Olympia. She might have been working.
All right.
I think. Oh, did the Olympia have? Expo. They do have a little booth and stuff out, but I don't think they have a. They don't do an expo like the Arnold.
Yeah, yeah, this is cool. I
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, this is almost kind of like what the fitness, like almost kind of remind me of the fitness division a bit, but
Yeah.
you know, but just pole dancing.
Well, you can
So
use it part of your routine, but
Joe,
there's like
so
there's
I
certain
had some other stuff. What you were
well,
saying?
you can
Yeah,
use
you
it.
hear me?
Yes, I hear
Oh,
you. Yeah, I hear you. You can use it, but there's certain you have to have do all certain kind of routines doing your fitness rotation because you have with fitness you have the your routine part and you have your posing part. And, and if she was a fitness competitor, she has to do all the other mandatories part of her fitness routine, and then she has to get put on the suit and high heels to do her posing part. And I think the what is it? Uh, the posing makes the third more than half of your scoring, and the fitness is just stuff for just as a bonus. I think that's how they say it.
no, okay. Well, this is some of the early works of Wonder Woman, and the artwork was drawn by Harry. What was his name? Harry something. Harry G. I forgot the dude's name, but yeah, this is our early work and stuff. So wait, Harry G. Peter. That he was like the original artist for Wonder Woman and stuff. They say that like issue 6 was like the darkest one for some reason. I think it's like she fights on Plato or something like that, and she spanks him in that issue. Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, he was really into the movie. Maybe you need to catch it. Like he was really exploring the fetish part of him and his wife and his mistress and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, and then like it's one scene where they get caught by the neighbor. The neighbor, they go in the house, because it's not like how it was today. That they could just freely back then they could just have the door open and the neighbor come and leave something there and stuff like that. So she goes in the room and she sees them tying each other up and stuff, and so she starts freaking out, and then then everybody knows about what they was doing, you know. So I
Mhm.
don't know, like that's just the movie part. I don't know how that came about, in true events, but I know that the common fact that they would kind of lie and say that um Olive, she was married, but her husband died, and so especially when they had kids. So yeah. But it
Mm.
was very interesting. Like I mean, like because I'd be at the library and they would have like these books on Wonder Woman, and for some reason I was reading it and like started like curious about how she was created. Yeah, and it's a like really dark, but you know I think it kind of explains certain things about fetishes I like and stuff. Cause I be fantasizing about a chick Wonder Woman for some reason. Even these bodybuilders, that's why that's probably I did this. But I remember you kind of sent me like this picture of this female bodybuilder, and she was a feminist. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was the lady who was she used to date Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Columbo back in the day,
right.
and I think she made some money from doing burlesque stuff and little adult stuff, trying to, being a bodybuilder is very expensive.
Yeah,
If you remember, I was telling you about there's uh this new Wonder Woman because they got a new storyline in
yeah,
the Marvel Comics. It's called the All In Initiative, and they have it's like it's coinciding with the regular DC stuff, but it's a different a version of Wonder Woman where she was not raised on the Themyscira along with you know her her mother, and she the story goes is I think I just put it up there. I think you can show it if you can.
oh, okay, hold on.
Where
Okay,
yeah, she was raised by
that's
Cersei.
absolute Wonder Woman.
That's absolutely one woman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
she was
Yeah, I
raised by
was.
Cersei,
Yeah,
who's her foster mother, because I think Zeus killed all the Amazons, and she grew up on in a corner of hell. But
right.
then she meets Steve Trevor. He sometimes gets to hell. She saves him. He goes back to the human world. She comes there. She helps him, fight a monster and kills the monster. Her powers are different. She had his sword. For her to order to get Steve back, she had to sacrifice her left arm because no, I think it's her right arm. And then she has three different type of lassos.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't read the Absolute Wonder Woman. Yeah, but yeah, I'm aware of it. That
Yeah. Well,
I
you have to. What I do is like there's a channel on YouTube called Variant Comics, and right now they just did
yeah,
they
yeah,
just
I
did a
know.
thing with they just did a thing with Bob Absolute Batman, his fight versus Bane, and they did a whole hour over the Absolute Superman. So
Mm,
you can just sometimes I listen to those. That's just as good as if you get the comic.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about the new 52, and then they did the rebirth and all that type of stuff. It's really hard to always keep in track of comics all the time, man. It'd be like always changing the storyline. I was never consistent with comics like that. But I recently, not cut you off, but I recently watched the Wonder Woman movie, the animated Wonder Woman movie. It was all right. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I used to read comics a good bit. Used to there used to be Walmart used to carry the comic books. I used to get them when there. One used to go to Walmart when and sometimes my mom go shopping. I have a few bucks on me. I pick some there. They used to, or there was B Dalton. There was at the mall in the next town over, the B Dalton bookstore.
right.
Or you know, there used to be a little comic store. Like it was like a little ways from the courthouse. So you know, where we, in our next town over. But and then sometimes I order through some back issues through some companies. But now most of those companies are, died out more. Comic books are going more to online and like Kindle. To do you can read them on those and you know. I had a couple of subscriptions I used to have, but after a while you couldn't keep it up all the time because when I was young, I didn't have a lot of money.
Mm,
You know.
yeah, yeah. I used to steal comics and stuff at times when I was. Yeah, I used to run out the store, and yeah, sometimes I used to steal for other people and stuff. This kid used to like pressure me to do that shit. And sometimes I didn't want to do it. 'Cause I was trying to be good and stuff. I was going to church at the time, and believed in God and all that stuff. So but I eventually did it. Started stealing comics, and yeah, but that was, yeah. Like I would buy them too. Also, it wasn't like I was just stealing them, but when I had the opportunity, I'm gonna steal that shit. But yeah, there was, yeah, Nubia. Like I did read like a comic on Nubia and stuff. Yeah, on the I think like the reboot of it. Like, what's your thoughts on Nubia?
Have much thoughts about it. Like I said, I don't really know much about her.
Yeah, she's Wonder Woman's sister, and she's made out of clay. Yeah, she was the original story was she 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 was created in the 70s, and so you know they 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 made the storyline where she was created like clay as Wonder Woman originally, but I forgot, but she's Wonder Woman half sister. Yeah.
I
So,
know I saw somewhere that they rebooted that the story that she, Wonder Woman was made by clay, but she was actually uh, her mother Heptapilon had a relationship with Zeus,
yeah,
and 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 Nubia supposed to be her half sister by I think she's not the daughter of Zeus, but daughter of another god.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know about it. It ain't like you didn't know about it.
Not much
You know,
about it. I said,
not a
not a
whole
lot.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a little here and
but
there.
she the story changed and all that stuff. I heard at one point she was gonna be in the Wonder Woman TV show. That's just I don't quote me on it too much, but she was supposed to. For I don't know what happened and stuff. So yeah,
With the Linda Carter show or another show? Because I know there was
Wonder
another one.
Woman show, Linda Carter, the
Yeah,
Linda Carter one.
that's why I think it went with.
From what I understand,
That's why I went with Deborah Winger to play her sister, Drew, and she became Wonder Girl.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Donna Troy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another what I was about to say something yeah it was recently yeah I had a Wonder Woman comic and it was I think her and Diana they was fighting and stuff like that and yeah something happened and so Diana was interfering with her and stuff. I can't really explain it, but they was both going at it. That's the simple way of me saying it, because I had it been a while since I read the comic, but this is Nubia and stuff. So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah, I know. Like I said
different
again,
like
yeah, a lot of bodybuilders like the Wonder Woman thing, 'cause especially, you know, it's the image of strength and femininity. You know, it's just something about it. Also, it's just there's not a lot of female superheroes. If you can think of it, a handful here and there back in the day, and then I think around about the 70s, 80s, you started seeing more.
yeah. I mean, she stood out as almost like a counterpart to Superman. So she's some people look at. I mean, she is a feminist icon. Yeah, because the feminist movement they were like encouraged by her, influenced by her. So yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you got She-Hulk also. That I would say like but she doesn't stand out as Wonder Woman does. I think something about Wonder Woman. She empowers the majority of modern women. So
Well, with She-Hulk, she's really just like an off-brand of offshoot of Hulk. But with Wonder Woman, she's her own character. Other than like you got Wonder Girl, Donna Troy. There's really I think technically there's at least another girl. Her name is Cassandra. I used to watch Young Justice, and she's supposed to be also a daughter of Zeus. She's supposed to be Wonder Woman's sister too. And
yeah,
but with She-Hulk, she's like the male counterpart, the female counterpart to the Hulk. Not as strong, but still, she's a Hulk. Or you got Supergirl, who's counterpart to Superman because they're both Kryptonians, full-blooded. You know, and you have Batman, you have Batwoman. There's a Wonder Man, but that's Marvel. That's a totally different character. He's not Amazon so that. But actually, also Wonder Woman has a brother. And I think he supposed to
Yeah,
be in a twin, but he was raised because he couldn't live on the
yeah,
island with his mother's sister
that
because he
yeah
was
that
male.
yeah they have yeah, she has siblings also, not just one from, but on in the 52, I think she had a like few siblings,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, because many of them are some of them are children of Zeus and like hers, and others are you know that brother. She's a twin. He's like her her full blood brother with her
right,
mother, Zeus. But yeah, many of the other, because Zeus, he has like, Hercules is technically her brother also.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you can see this this Wikipedia. Yeah, so they saying that, yeah. So Nubia is a fictional character appearing in DC Comics. Let me fast forward. In stories from 73 to 79, she was depicted as Wonder Woman's long lost twin sister and rival under influence of Ares, after a long absence from comic books, during which time DC rebooted its continuity. She was reimagined as Nubia in 1999 by Dozell Young and Brian Denham in Wonder Woman Volume 2, Annual 8, Issue 8. In this telling, she was the Amazon's champion, immediately prior to Diana, assigned to protect Themyscira by watching over Doom's doorway. Yeah, what was I about to say? What was I about to? I forgot the thought I was gonna hit, but yeah, yeah, I haven't really, like, I think I looked at one of the comics to Nubia and stuff. But yeah, I ain't gonna say I know too much about her, but from the story, she was created in the 70s, and they started rebooting her in the previous comics and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's, I mean, when I look at it too, I mean, there's like women in the past, strong women that you would say kind of would be like a Wonder Woman, yet like earlier this morning, I was watching the movie to Mildred Burke. She's like the wrestler and stuff, and yeah, she kind of was empowering women, and yeah, they made a movie about her that came out like months ago. I seen it. It's kind of long, but basically it was how she started wrestling. She had this fascination with wrestling, and she's learning about the business of wrestling, that it was fixed. Like her husband at the time, they were he was a wrestler. He knew about he was teaching her about the wrestling game, and yeah, so she held the title till I think she retired. You know, that's the
Um,
simplest way for me to explain. But yeah, Mildred Burke, because I've seen her like in social media, and yeah. So another one
well,
is, no, go ahead.
they did that a lot back then in wrestling because they want to build reputation. Even with boxing, there's some fighters that should have lost fights, but or they didn't. Like one example is like who I'm thinking of. Uh, like they usually sometimes they get an old fighter like when Rocky Marciano fought Joe Louis, and Joe Louis was like 47 years old, and he beat Joe Louis, and Joe Louis was 80 years old. So I'm from coming to America, it's just stacking the reputation of a fighter or a wrestler. Put them against a bunch of jobbies, and and avoid the real fights, knowing that they possibly can beat. You
Yeah,
know, people always gonna say Rocky Mountain great, but I think there's some fighters that he didn't fight that didn't want him to fight because they know if he fought him, he would have lost.
yeah. Well, during in the movie, they also showed that how she wanted 50-50. You know, they she wanted to be partners with her husband, but it wasn't never gonna happen. So like he would get more girls and like come like promote shows and all that stuff, and he would like earn more than what she was earning. She didn't really like earn as much as he did, and they were saying that he was taking advantage. They was displaying that he was taking advantage of her. You know, so yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was a long movie. I was watching it and stuff. There's other people that I know about. I ain't write it down, but go ahead. What you were saying? You were saying something.
Yeah, it happens. That's how it is, because women, like we talk about this on my channel, how women want fair. I won't say equal pay, but fair pay. It's never going to be truly equal between men and women when it comes to pay, because men are always gonna, they do more heavier work, and then also, it's just that's how things are.
Yeah,
But I think fair pay is good. If you pay somebody what they like what was I watching? I was watching this thing where they talk about how it was Three's Company. Remember the TV show, with Suzanne Summers, where she left the series because she was getting like 30,000 dollars for the season, while you know John Ritter was getting like $100,000. She wanted more.
mm,
Because hey, people just didn't watch the show just because it's funny, but also we watch it because hey, we're looking at Sydney Snow. I mean, I would say yeah, but she left the show, and then it carried on for as long as it did. But I feel like it wasn't as good because she was just so interesting and funny. She played the bits. She was attractive. They brought in that one girl, the tall chick, was supposed to be her cousin that season, and she got
yeah.
quit. They
The
got rid of
clumsy
her.
one. Remember
Yeah,
that one?
yeah. And then they brought in the next girl, and it lasted a couple more years. But truthfully, the show really was the same when Suzanne Summers left.
Yeah,
And I watched the thing with her and Joyce DeWitt. They was like, when she had a talk show, they finally talked to each other because they didn't talk to us for a long time, because she felt like Joyce would probably be on her side because, hey, how much we get paid? But then guess what? Joyce DeWitt herself saying, well, this is might be the only thing gig I have. So I'm not going to rock the boat.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, another strong woman. Her name is Abigail Pudgy Stockton. I think she was a early bodybuilder, natural bodybuilder. She was like in the cover of magazines and all that type of stuff. In the 50s. So you got evening brothers, Clyde and George. Hope y'all having a good Sunday. Yeah, it's all right. Thank you for hopping on the chat, man.
Even
Yeah,
Pastor said
say that
it.
again.
I said, even. He says,
Oh,
even back.
oh, evening. Oh, evening. Okay.
See, I'm from country say a little different. We say eating, even. How you
Yeah,
doing? Hello.
yeah. Well, yeah. I remember there was this YouTuber. He was kind of
It was
breaking.
like
He was
vaudeville had a lot of strong women performers back then. You know,
yeah,
even this type of muscle, people say she's too muscular, but she's still, good amount of muscle, still feminine, got her hair, everything like that. Um, but because there's always a thing about women muscle, it kind of offends the sense of everyday person.
yeah. I mean, because it's because the perception, women supposed to be soft and gentle. With men, we supposed to be hard and muscular, and so I mean
Yeah,
that's not gonna die out, George. That it's not.
no,
I
it's not.
mean, it's always gonna be like that. I mean, there's some that they look attractive with muscles, but they still gonna get on. They gonna be they gonna be criticized for having muscles. I mean, even women criticize women for having muscles.
Mhm.
That's the crazy shit. So
Well, women did. It's not it's a lot of unity when it comes to women. Sometimes, like I'm learning
yeah,
just doing this content because sometimes, like I talk to a lady I know, she tells me sometimes she try to get things set up and done, and then it's hard to get anybody to get involved on it because, especially if it's something that doesn't really, it's something that can really benefit you, but because there's so much work involved in it, you don't want to do it, and then you complain. But the problem is, if you're not willing to put the work in, what you expect to get out of it? Nothing.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't got nothing to say about that, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't really like worry about them too much. The women bodybuilders. I mean, it is what it is. Because sometimes you talk for them and you don't really, and it's not towards everybody, but it's a lot. I'm gonna put it that way. So,
Mhm.
but there's this other chick. Her name was Katie Sandwina, and she was a strong woman. And she also was a feminist, I heard. And she wrestled a bodybuilder in them days, and she defeated him wrestling. She was strong.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was really strong. She see how she picked up all these guys. Yeah, she was strong. Yeah, I read about her, like there was somebody on Instagram and they was breaking down who she was. So yeah, it's very interesting. And then you have this other chick. Her name is Kate Williams Volcano. I didn't find the opportunity to read about her too much, but yeah, she was another strong woman in them days. So there's more strong women. There was one. She was an acrobat. I think your boy Jeremy. He kind of like he has like a profile picture of her on his Instagram page and his YouTube. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think he talked about her because he, on our last live stream, he asked, he worked, told who she was. You know, yeah, that was very popular back then. The women doing the carnivals and working the circuses. That's the way they make the money.
yeah,
It was just something different. You know,
yeah. If you were to cast a live action Wonder Woman for the new DCU movies, who would you cast? Should be a bodybuilder, an actress that hits the gym. You have any thoughts on this question?
well, you got to find the right person. You can't be just a bodybuilder because some bodybuilders don't know how to act.
Yeah,
Maybe if you can find somebody who has a certain typical look that reminds you of Wonder Woman, she has to be tall, good shape. I mean, there's quite a few actors, you know, but the thing is that you have to really learn how to act. You have to really know how to perform and also do the physical stuff. And they will probably do too much physical stuff because they don't want you to get hurt because, hey, you're a star. They want you like, we see Tom Cruise do stunts. He'll do all those stunts because the fact is, hey, he's 60, he's 60 years, something years old now and you can't always move and run like you used to.
right.
It's just if they find the right person, one thing, question is like my being, like I said again, being a particular type of criminal. I'm wondering who they're gonna get for their Batman.
Um, well, we'll stay tuned. We focusing on Wonder Woman,
Okay.
but yeah. So this outfit like in 2010s. I remember I read a book with her on that outfit too. So yeah, this
It looks
is
like
uh in the I think what in the 60s, the 70s or something like that.
that
Yeah,
might be the 70s.
yeah, 70s. And this is also her in Justice League. Yeah, she was cool in the Justice League. She was really she was
What I
kicking
liked
it.
about that version because they had a relationship. I know I gotta go back to them. They had a relationship between Diana and Bruce
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because a lot of comics there'd be a relationship between Clark and Diana. But then
Right.
Clark loves Lois Lane. So
Yeah.
there's even a elsewhere which one woman marries Bruce and they have a child together, have a daughter.
Yeah. I heard that one before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Justice
liked
League
it.
was
The Justice League
yeah.
series, even
Justice
Justice.
League is limit. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
They were talking about maybe bringing it back.
Yeah. For what? I mean, it don't make sense.
I don't know. That's how it is. Because now with the new DC series, thing coming out, and you know how it is. People like to watch the old classics, or updated version of it, because they do have Young Justice, but I don't think they had any new shows in a while.
Mm. Are they showing that now? The Young Justice?
No, because like I don't really watch cable like that. I think if it's on Max still, because it used to be on Cartoon Network, and
Yeah.
then what it was because the toy sales wouldn't do so well. The thing is, kids don't play with toys like that. You know
Mm.
who's buying toys? Adults, because they
Yeah.
like to reminisce with their kids. They get the toys that they couldn't afford when they're younger. That's why you can't really sell to children anymore. Kids more on their computers, their phones, and they don't be into toys like that. You
Yeah.
know, but that was the reason why they said they ended the when not Nickel, I mean Cartoon Network dropped the Young Justice series, and then Cinemax, it's not not Max, HBO Max started doing it. I
Mm.
used to watch some episodes here on YouTube. You know,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah. I
know if
mean,
it's still on or not.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't even watch Cartoon Network as much as before. Yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
is your girl
I
Linda Carter. When I was watching these Wonder Woman recent, I mean, like when I got older, just watching those episodes, I'm like, what was they thinking at that time? Like, they had it on a skateboard. That shit. I mean, like, I think the Bionic Woman was better, but it seems like when you say that, it's like people don't show you no love. Because
well, well, the Bionic Woman didn't have a history like Wonder Woman. It has been around that long. She's kind of like She-Hulk. She's spin off from the Bionic from $6 Million Man.
it didn't
You know,
matter. I mean, it was interesting. It still was interesting. Then it was realistic. Than Wonder Woman. I mean, like she'll change into spin around and change into her swimsuit and then dive underwater and all that crazy stuff. And, as a kid, you're like, wow, this is like fascinating. Like, then you get older, it's like, what was they thinking? I mean, it wasn't as bad as Batman. The 1960 Batman. They actually had a Wonder Woman um a spinoff to the Batman series, but it got canceled. There was one episode where she's living with her mother and stuff, and then I think she something happened, something came up, and so she started changing as Wonder Woman. It was kind of weird. It's almost like a Bewitched type of thing, like they was trying to do, like Bewitched or I Dream of Genie, like in a comedic way, but it never got picked up, as a TV series. It's just the pilot of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when originally the Batman series, the Adam West series, it was canceled. It was originally on ABC, got canceled, but got picked up by NBC, and they were going to show it on that network. But then what happened was they tore down I think it was the studio or the scenery for the show, and then NBC just dropped it. They just ended it because now because they wanted to when they do the series, they will take everything that was involved in it. But then when they tear down the background stuff, say, nah, you broke the contract. So They just, there was going to be some more episodes because I think the Batman series only lasted maybe about 2 or 3 years. Still get reruns. Because sometimes I catch on certain networks that show it. You know, like late at night, or sometimes they show it today on Sunday mornings. Because like I said, not much more on television anymore. These old nostalgia networks that show old TV shows like Star Trek and old, you're like A-Team was on this evening. I watched some of it. I watched so much. I say nah. Sometimes after a while you get kind of tired of it. Even though hey, it was decided when we were younger, but when you get older, you say nah, it's not the same feel anymore. It's sometimes you see shows maybe I must see episode 4 or 5 times because they
Mm.
play it like 3 or 4 times of a day and did every week. So you just say I'm kind of blown out of it. Even watching cartoons, Looney Tunes. Just watching Looney Tunes a while ago, I said I saw one with Tweety Bird getting chased after by two cats. And I said I've seen this one so many times. And I just turned to the PBS and watched was it something about I think it was traveling or was it some trains in Mexico?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Did you have any artists that you liked? Like well, you
Mm,
wasn't watching you wasn't reading the Wonder Woman comics like that.
no, like I said, I wouldn't even pay attention to artists. I just like the books and
Um,
read the comics. I ain't pay attention to the artists. I just was like I like the comics. Only other than maybe Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and uh, Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee and those guys. But most of the other ones didn't know them that well.
yeah. This one, well, I got like a DC New 52 with Brian Azzarello, Tony Akins. I forgot who's the artist in it, but I like the artwork to New 52s and stuff. So yeah, yeah. I mean, like yeah, they were like they were artists I did like though, but sometimes you don't know their names. Now, who's this?
This is Erica Morales. She is a IFBB figure pro. She's the one who she got her pro card at the Triple O Dynasty a couple months ago. I mean,
Oh,
she got her Olympic qualification at Triple O.
okay, all right, that's cool.
She's originally from Guatemala.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of them Latin chicks, they like dressing up as Wonder Woman, especially the bodybuilders.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, she's cool. How long she been competing?
I think she's been competing maybe about 10 to 15 years. I
Mm,
know.
okay, yeah, all right,
She's been Olympia multiple times in figure. I
yeah.
think she's going to be her
Oh,
fourth or fifth time going this time.
yeah, yeah. Well, I got some videos I want to check out.
So here.
Yeah.
All the pretty girls walk like this, 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 this.
This
She's
other one
strong.
where she bends. Yeah, watch. This other one
Don't be
she
afraid
bends.
to reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to be different, man. You ain't got to fit in the crowd. I tell my sons all the time, why are you following everybody when you were clearly meant to lead?
Show that last one where she bending the bars and stuff. That's why kind of yeah. I seen her. I was looking up for some Wonder Woman stuff. Yeah, so yeah, some strong women. I don't know how how much that weighs that yellow that weight that she was picking up like that. Yeah,
It had to weigh a lot.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. some, I mean, like there's women that, you know, they like the strong women, like they kind of like pull the trucks and stuff. I'm like, damn. I remember I was like interviewing this chick. She's from France, and she came to the States recently. I think she was in Virginia Beach or something like that, and to compete in this strong woman competition and stuff. She lifts like cars and all that stuff. She squats. Well, I don't. I think she squats men at times and stuff. There's that chick that you that interviewed. I seen her in action. The strong woman that you interviewed.
Oh,
She's
I mean
from
Jamie.
Australia.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jamie. Yeah.
yeah.
From Australia.
She picked up. She squatted a dude with ease. I was like, wow, that's amazing. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's like I said, it's a totally different level when it comes to bodybuilding compared to strong women because
Yeah,
the training is different. They don't train for, uh, you know, you train for more for strength compared to bodybuilders. We train for conditioning, for shape, for presentation, and it's like when people look at people with bodybuilders, they're not strong. I'm not that strong because they're not training for strength. They're training just as presentation. I found this video. You might like it. I'm gonna pull it up here and get your thoughts on it.
all right. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I know about her. That's her name is Chi. I copied down. I wanted to showcase that on that interview that that discussion. What was her name? Fucking Chinugawa or something. I'm not pronouncing it right. Yeah, but she's from Japan, and yeah, she had, yeah, Chiharu Nakajima. Yeah, that's her name. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's interesting. Yeah, she likes dressing up as Wonder Woman and stuff.
Right here, I'm looking at her social media. She was very impressive. She looks like she might be, maybe competing sometime soon. She got some good size and a good definition. I wonder what division. I think she might do figure. You
Yeah,
know, that's a possibility because you don't be as big as when vitamin physique and figure. But like when I posted something on my IG, a lot of ladies were talking about how again go back to the subject of how the physique division is starting to get a little bit bigger. Like one girl, she had issue. She was she was just in show today, and it was in Spain, and she was in the top three again because I think the last couple of shows she was in the top three, and she's talking about how she's comparing the winner of women's physiques, the winner of women's bodybuilding.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. I ain't really all into that right now.
I know.
But I know you showcase some of the stuff with Martina Lopez. She won the Spain. She's going to the Olympia and stuff, and
Hmm.
another chick. She did the women's physique division and stuff like that. So yeah, another thing that came to my mind was Jim Lee. If you're familiar with him, he drew like the X-Men, and he drew the X-Men, and he drew like Wonder Woman and stuff. That, well, actually he drew like the Justice League, the first issue. Yeah, I remember there was this part where she beat up Green Lantern. Well, something happened, and so Green Lantern kind of used his ring on her, like to like block her from walking, and so she was telling him to let me go, and so he didn't want to, and so she broke like his energy field, and they started fighting a little bit, and then like one of the people in the crowd, they was like, "Wow, Green Lantern's getting his ass kicked by Wonder Woman." It's like, yeah, right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. And it's
There,
another
yeah,
what
generally
you was
because I think he crossed, because him was it Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, they all were part of Marvel for a long time because
yeah,
Todd did Spider-Man, Rob did Captain America and Avengers, Jim also did X-Men, and then they went off and they did their own comics, Image Comics,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they created Zera, a character in Image Comics from Wildcats called Zealot. She was kind of like she was actually an alien who was thousands of years old, living on Earth. She was Amazon.
yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, they actually had the animated series to that at one point in the 90s.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that. I used
it
to
was
watch that on
cool.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
was
pretty
cool.
good.
Yeah. Another artist, this is George Perez. I know he did like he was the artist for like Teen Titans back in the 80s, early 80s and stuff. And it looked like his work of on Wonder Woman. Yeah, because it looked like his style of drawing. So yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Well, a lot of artists cross over from different comic, lines. You have ones that particularly are this, franchise, or that sometimes they cross over, like
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my friend,
especially
he's a comic book artist and stuff. So
uh, that's the one more I wouldn't mind hitting up.
yeah. Yeah, this chick, she's I think I forgot what she's Latina, and she kind of do like these Wonder Woman skits on Facebook and stuff like that. She's on Instagram. Yeah, I remember I wanted to try to reach out to talk to her, but she's telling me her English is not that great. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I reached out to this lady a while ago, and she told the same thing because, I said, hey, saw her show competition. I said, you got great physique. She was speaking some English, but she said English is not that good. And that's the thing is
yeah,
sometimes when you try to do with somebody whose English is not that good, you lose a lot of stuff in translation.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's nothing wrong with the translator. I mean, you'll have like a glimpse of what they're talking about.
Yeah,
So
but sometimes it's a better back and forth. We can understand, if you both understand the conversation a little better. Sometimes with the people who do speak just good enough English, you do all right. But if it's somebody who just can't really, even with the translator, they have to change the words and phrases a bit because some
mm,
things sound different when it's translated, or if she says something to you and it's translated differently, it's just the phrases are thing are different. It's like the cadence has changed and just kind of just like it's just not the same. But when you talk with somebody who speaks English, very fluent English, or just American competitor or Canadian competitor, you know, you can it makes the interview seem very fluid.
mm. I don't know what to tell you, but we could check this video out. You'll be amazed on this video.
All right.
One hell of a
Family love.
superpower, right?
Family love. I mean love. I mean I wouldn't
That's
last
what.
me.
Uh,
I need a napkin afterwards and a
uh,
whip wipe
that-
and a
that's
cigarette.
one hell of a super. That's one hell of a superpower. Yeah, man.
Oh, I remember there's this guy he used to come on Jerry Springer, not Jerry Springer. It was Maury Povich. He used to take and swallow things and come back up. He said he
Mm,
learned it when he was growing up in an orphanage in Scotland. Because sometimes the people come visit the children to give them money, stuff like that, and the people that run the orphanage would take the money for the kids. So he had to swallow his stuff to hide it, and he'll come back up, not even wet with spit or anything. After a while, you know. I don't know if the guy's
mm,
still alive now. He used to come on more about every other couple times a year or something like that.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. People they do these crazy things and stuff. That's wow. That's I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you something, she don't have a gag reflex.
yeah, yeah. She did some other videos of her. She's like eating it's like a food contest or something like that with all these hamburgers and stuff. And you look at and she's not even that big, and she's just like putting things in her mouth, and I don't know that's crazy. I don't know, man.
there was. I remember when I was working the club. There was a chick that came through who was dancing, and she had these balloons. She
Mm.
blow them up and she swallow them down her throat. I mean, she was,
Are you serious?
wow. Yes, it was her little thing. That was her little stage performance thing when she was on stage doing a stripping.
Mm.
It was, you just went out there. You could see how it was. She pulled them back. She pulled the balloons back up, and just like, it was her little
How long
trick.
was the how big was the balloon we talking about?
It was like, kind of like you ever watch the kind of balloon animals, when some balloon animals, those type balloons. That's what she
Oh,
used.
okay, I got you. Wow. Okay.
She'll
Was
blow them
she
up
a
on
thick
stage.
chick?
She was thick in the right places. She was, no. She
Oh,
she came a couple times to the club. Hadn't seen her since then.
yeah. Wow. That's. You seem like you had some really good memories at that strip club.
Yeah, it was a cool place to work. As long as there was no problems. Like Roadhouse, it was a good night. No one got killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to show somebody else that that you probably might find fascinating.
Go ahead. Like I said.
Yeah. Um, you can see this. Tell me when you see this. Let me see if you. Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
is that Courtney Olson?
Yeah. Courtney Austin.
Yeah, because I know you
Yeah,
interviewed
them
her a while back.
thighs and stuff.
Yeah.
The yeah. Yeah, she was like ventilating. Yeah, she be doing some Wonder Woman type stuff. So, picking
Yeah.
up guys and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, a while back,
Mm,
I think we asked about her when she did that slap contest a couple years ago.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she her and Sheena um Sheena the Amazon or something like that. Yeah, let me
Uh-huh.
see. I forgot her. Her name is not popping up. Yeah, but she kind of she had like a slap contest with her stuff. So hello,
Yeah, I
can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, it sound like my oh yeah, it sound like it was coming out on and out. So that's why. Yeah, so she do like Brazilian jiu jitsu and all that type of stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is
yeah. She
really a
also
lot
got
of
them
work.
for yeah. Yeah, yeah. You interviewed a lot of people that do that type of stuff. It's time consuming as bodybuilding.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like I said, it's a lot.
So
It's a
yeah,
lot
she looked nice in
to.
these outfits.
Yeah. Yeah. I know she. I remember she
Yeah,
mentioned how she was
yeah, she,
dealing with in her past. She was dealing with with some abuse before, and that's where she started really wanting to build her body just because of what happened to her when she was younger.
yeah, yeah. She was going through a lot of stuff. So yeah, just wanted to do this live. I wasn't sure to do it, wasn't certain to do it. I didn't really know what like topics too much talk about, but I you know I started thinking it through. So did the best I can with it. So yeah.
Well, I know how it is. Sometimes I run out of ideas of what to talk about, and then I try to get set video interviews on Monday if I can. Sometimes some ladies rather
Mm,
do on the weekend or later in the week. I had a couple of videos that interviews supposed to come up, but then whatever happens, I'm not gonna chase after you. Hey, you know we have something set. You want to do it, let's do it, and then if I feel like I'm gonna waste your time, hey, I can move on and find somebody else who wants to. You know.
mm,
But yeah, it can be trying to find a subject to talk about, especially something you might like, or maybe something that really interests your channel. Um, I know, as you know, the reason why I invite you for this other thing coming up because it's a discussion about money and about the cost of prepping. So I
yeah, I
didn't
seen
know,
it.
yeah. So, but if you ever want to, I'll move the link like I usually do. If you really want to come in, just come in.
Yeah,
But I always try to find subjects that really interest not just myself, but also people out there. And I got some of these coming through. They want to talk about it because, it's tough to be a bodybuilder and try to pay and find the cost and try to find things to save some money along the way. But it's all if you find something that interests you and you know your shit on it, yeah, talk about it.
yeah,
Like I said, you invited me to come on. There's some stuff I don't know, and there's stuff I learned because you told me.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about doing it, but I wasn't too sure about it. So yeah, yeah, what I was thinking about this and food, really, a topic on food. I think I sent you like two videos on it with chemicals that's in the food and all that craziness. I was going, but for some reason, I don't know, the Wonder Woman was like kind of like
Yeah,
taught
more
me.
interesting, more
Yeah,
interesting to talk about. Here's the
yeah,
thing: is people always talk about stuff in food. And you know what? You're not going to change anything. Not much as you can.
yeah,
Unless you put in the right people to say, "Hey, don't do this." But some of that stuff is in there for a reason because there's some things out there that the human body is not capable of consuming or can handle. Yes, I know it may not be healthy, but sometimes you got to weigh the risk over the reward.
right, yeah. Well, I think that's it, man. I really appreciate you stopping by and shooting the shit. And yeah,
No, no problem, no problem. Like I said, I got not much else to do. I got
yeah,
some stuff I got to work on tomorrow. This weekend, I went to see my cardiologist. Everything's fine. Did some shopping, did my laundry. Like I said, not much to do. Like I said, again, I live in a small town. I try to find, I try to find something to keep myself busy. Tomorrow, my live, we're going to talk about discussion about price and cost of prepping, and then I got some, you know, videos to work on. There'll be no competitions until July. There's a couple coming up. One's going to be Portugal because one of the ladies that I interviewed, Romana, she's going to do the show in Portugal. That's in July the 6th because she's hoping to get a little bit of qualification in Spain, but because she didn't get it, she's going to Portugal, and then after that, she says she's going to shut it down because she's don't want to burn herself out doing too many shows. Won't give herself enough time to grow. And
okay.
then other than that, just trying to find something to talk about for my lives. I'm just about 10 people away from 3,000 subscribers.
Okay. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. So yeah, I mean, for those who wants to know about Wonder Woman, you can also go to check out William Marston, and they got books on him and stuff. Yeah, Google him and read about more about him, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll be running out of stuff to say, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers, and yeah, everybody have a pleasant week and just maintain, and yeah, don't do nothing crazy. Don't let
It's
people make you get yourself out your character. And that's all I can say.
yeah, it's tomorrow be Monday, folks. So yeah, it's always every Monday now, but you know, eh, it's just another week. You just they gotta keep your head up and like Rocky Balboa says, keep moving through it. That's all you can do.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna wrap it up.
Mhm.